Hi, folks. Jesse Ivy back here again with you. And basically, today we're going to talk about why cash is king. So, cash, money here in the United States, especially, or wherever you are, but money is very important. It's important in business and it's important in just regular life. So, it's not just cash is king, that saying. What they mean by that is basically this cash in a business. You need cash for bills and all kinds of supplies, and in case you get into trouble in the winter months when your business is running, or things like that. Also, cash at home. When you have cash or you don't have cash, you get into trouble. You can get into trouble with all kinds of things. So I always recommend that people always keep enough cash on hand, at least save money so that you're able to do the things you want to do. But for a family, for example, cash is king, basically because of the fact that it will help you last for months if you run into a jam. You need a new refrigerator, you need a new microwave, you have a hole in your wall, your pipes freeze, all kinds of things like that. So that's why people should have a cushion of cash. And that just basically means savings in your bank account. So if you don't have savings in your account, you need to start working on that so that you're able to have cash in your account. If you don't have cash or savings for something, you've heard that saying before, save money for a rainy day or something like that. Well, that's a great saying. But there's a lot of truth to that as well, because of the fact that you don't know what can come out of the woodwork when you're raising a family or you have a household or that type of thing. So let's look at cash for in other ways. Another way that I've heard that cash is king over the years is when you're like wanting to buy some land or a property or whatever. If you have enough cash on hand, a lot of times you can make that seller move on their purchase price, or rather their asking price, rather by offering something that's far less, but than their asking price. But the fact that you have cash and cash is king, and they know cash is king, they may take your price because you can basically close the deal right now. You don't have to wait on anything in real estate. So basically, it's like this: let's say that some guy has a 20-acre lot. He has it for sale for $20,000. Okay, and let's say that you've been saving your money and you actually have $25,000, but with this guy, you're only going to offer him, he knows somebody else can maybe buy his lot, but the fact that you have cash, it moves you right to the head of the crowd, because of the fact that if you have to, you basically have to go in and get a loan, it's going to make that deal, it's going to take a lot of time, to close the deal. So with this guy who has this 20-acre lot, he's selling it for $20,000. He might take your offer of $10,000 because of the fact, not because he doesn't want $20,000 for his property, but because you have $10,000. He's motivated. He needs he needs the money right now. And that's the way cash is king. That's how you can use your cash to your advantage. In a business, like if you're going to start a business, you might as well not even start a business if you don't have cash or some kind of credit. A credit card is great, but you need to have some cash on hand, because when you use a credit card, you just go back into debt. You basically you're borrowing, tomorrow's money to use today. Hopefully, you're going to make enough money to turn it around. But if you have enough cash on hand, if you've saved your money to open up your business or whatever you're thinking about doing, it's a lot more comforting to have your cash on hand. So if you're in a position where you're thinking about starting a business, opening a business, whatever, make sure that you save enough cash on hand. And a lot of people might ask, okay, how much cash on hand do I need to have, just in a household? Well, in my opinion, in a household, your goal should be to save at least, maybe $20,000 to $30,000, just so that you will call that your cushion. If you're in a business or you're going to start a business, I would go higher. I would go, maybe $50,000, $60,000, so that you have enough money on hand to be able to, basically save. If you have a problem, like I said before, if you have something that happens and it's unexpectedly, you're going to be in a jam because you don't have the cash. Like I said before too, if you have credit cards, that's great, but eventually your credit line's going to run out, and then you have a new bill to pay because you're basically borrowing tomorrow's money today. So what you want to do is you want to save and have a cash cushion. And, I always have tried to have a cash cushion. And when you have a cash cushion, there's a lot of things that happen. It makes you feel better about life because you don't have to worry if something unexpectedly comes along. You don't have to worry that it's going to affect you. If you have to, somebody gets sick, they have medical bills, or, an unexpected accident happens, anything like that. Or how about even at your house, something breaks, you need a new oven, a new stove, a new refrigerator, things that are necessities that you must need, like a new washer or dryer or something like that. You will have the money on hand because you won't have to worry about it. It's no big deal to you because cash is king and you keep it on hand. And like if you owe somebody, another thing to look at as far as cash is king, and I've heard this used quite a few times. If you owe somebody money, for example, if you are making a payment and you're thinking about paying off a note, let's say you owe a guy $10,000, okay? Well, let's say that you have saved up enough money and probably more than enough money to pay off this note, but the fact remains that you still owe $8,000 to this guy, but you have saved, let's say you've saved $20,000. This guy doesn't know this, obviously, but when you ever are thinking about paying off a note, like a mortgage or a personal note to somebody that you owe, ask them for a discount because you're giving them cash. Cash is king. So always ask for a discount. For example, if you owe this guy $8,000, say, hey, would you take $5,000? I have $5,000 that I could pay you off right now, but I'd like a discount since I'm paying you now. Well, he might think, hey, he's going to owe me another 5 years, paying on this $8,000 note. But if he turns around and pays me this $5,000, I get my money now, maybe not all the money, but I get a big chunk of money right now and I kind of need it. So you always want to make sure that you ask for a discount on a note if you are paying on a note, because like I said before, cash is king. And that's something that you just want to keep in mind when you're doing that. So just keep these things in mind when you're thinking about cash, and why cash is king. You also want to, if you're saving up for a business, to start a business, like I said before, you want to have at least, I would think you'd want to have $50,000 to $60,000 in the bank and an ample credit line somewhere that you'll be able to use. And then just for household income, have $20,000, $30,000. Cash is king. If you have that on hand, you do not have to worry when things get tough. And I've seen this happen so many times over the years. People who don't have cash or have not, basically put a cash cushion aside in their savings account and saving, they run into trouble, and then they're having to borrow money from family. They get in trouble with their bills, their creditors, and sometimes they end up, filing bankruptcy. So don't let that be you. Remember, cash is king. I've given you a lot of examples of how to use your cash as a tool, because that's basically what it is. Anyway, this is Jesse. I hope you enjoyed this little video on cash, and we will be back again very soon with another video. This is Jesse signing off from the Owner Terms Land Network.